All right, it's been about 7 months since I started my agency. My name is Luke. I did about 26K a month. I'm a little bit under that now, but I finally had my first client churn. This was one of my first clients. He was working with me since December. I had him on a 3-month agreement, and it took a little bit longer than that, the agreement, because I kind of gave him some extra time to pay and for me to shoot the videos. But regardless, I sent him the updated agreement and he said no. Respectfully, they were getting better results on Yelp. They were getting better results for like basically free. And I guess I only sold, or I guess he was like, oh, we think some of the leads were bots. We had people canceling, and we only sold about 3, they only had about 3 installations from the duration we were working. Which, and I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys, like, because most people would lie about their client churning and like lie about the reasoning. The results, I will be completely honest, were not that great. Partially because his business in specific, it was a smaller business. He has about 10 guys, and they were only charging like, their margins were terrible. So he has a system called the Infinity. It's a Carrier Infinity system. It's an HVAC unit. And he was selling the Infinity unit for about $12K. And I was talking to my girlfriend's dad about it because he works for Carrier. He works for those systems. And he said that was way too low. He said people are averagely charging 30 plus K for those systems, that he was only charging for 12K. And the reason he was charging so little is because he didn't install them the right way. So I don't know if you guys know anything about HVAC systems, but this is like it was like supposedly a premium top of the line unit where you had to put in modules in every room, and it would read like the temperature of every room, and it would adjust. So every single room was equal, and you could change different rooms. My client wasn't doing that, and they were just installing the systems. I didn't learn this until later, when I was talking to my girlfriend's dad, because I was like, hey, because we made an entire ad talking about that. We had 2 ads talking about the top line system. Like, it was crazy. Like, you can adjust the room temperature if you're not comfortable in this room. Like, you can go to this room and you can change everything. And it was a really good ad that we had to cut out. He texted me and he's like, yo, some of these aren't true. We don't want to do false advertising, so you got to cut out these 2 ads. And that's part of the reason I think the client churned, is because we had to cut off 2 ads that were targeting luxury homeowners for a luxury experience, a luxury HVAC unit. And the reasoning was not even that it wasn't true. It's that he didn't install the units the way you're supposed to. Like, you're literally supposed to go to a training and get certified to install the Infinity units, which is what my girlfriend's dad told me, because he works there. He's like, yeah, you're supposed to go through a whole fucking course to install these. Like, these are not easy to install. Like, you need technicians to be on the electronics, which they weren't doing. So if I had sold this guy like 5 of those units and he's charging 30K, he gets them, I think he got them for like 6K, 8K. His margins are a lot better. Maybe he stays, but with margins like that, I would have to sell way more for him. And he didn't have anyone on sales, which is a problem with everyone, but he didn't even like entertain the thought of hiring someone to do the sales, because he doesn't like salesy stuff. And so obviously the sales was a big problem too. They weren't calling anybody. They weren't building any rapport. Like, I don't know how much more I could have done. I just don't think HVAC is a good niche, to be honest with you. You get a lot of older people, they're confused. They join they fill out the form multiple times. There's no like, it's not like remodeling where you can be like, look at this beautiful countertop that we installed. And you can like really show off the quality. It's more like with HVAC, it's not like a pretty thing. Like, people don't give a fuck about the HVAC. They're just like, what's the cheapest shit I can get? And there's hella competition. And I am going to be completely honest. I don't think there's a world where this client worked out. And I had a bad feeling when I sent in a new contract, because Facebook ads really only work for HVAC if you have a sales team and if you're like really big and you need cheap leads and you don't care if like some of them cancel or whatever. So it wasn't a good fit for him, especially because he's doing over $1 million just on Yelp. Because he had like a lot of reviews and they wrote an article. So he's getting a lot of free leads on Yelp. This didn't really, it wasn't good fit for his business. Like he had a dispatcher calling the leads and like they're texting them, and it was just like, I was just like, I don't know if this is something he really needs, just being realistic. And so I was expecting him to churn. I will say, I think I did a good job. Like if I was able to run the ads, if they were installing the Infinity systems properly, he might have stayed. Like we could have sold a lot of those, but I'll never know, because that cut out like all the good ads. The rest of the ads were just like skits and like funny stuff that didn't really give like as much information as those ones. So it made my job a little bit difficult. Like you'll come to find that there's clients that they don't want to say anything in the ads. They're like, oh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say the price. I don't want to talk about this. And then you're kind of left with like, all right, well, what can I talk about in the ad? Because you don't have any offers. You don't want to talk about the price. It's like, oh, just talk about the good customer service, which we did, and it kind of worked, but not really. Not unless we had to show the only way to save that client from leaving and to get him his money back was to make the ads about the premium unit, which I didn't know they weren't installing correctly. So we had to cut them. But he didn't want to say anything in the ads, and it was weird to me. But now, like I said, after talking to my girlfriend's dad, now I understand why he didn't want to say anything in the ads. He was a super nice guy, super chill. It wasn't like he's like, nah, we're not getting any fucking results. Fuck you, fuck off. He was kind of like, hey man, like maybe we'll revisit this. And I was like, that's fine. But I'm not gonna do HVAC again. Sorry. Unless it's like a huge, big ass company with a huge budget that has a bunch of salespeople, they're just like, yeah, we want cheap leads. Like we're not expecting them to close themselves. Which this person was. I'm not doing it. I don't think Facebook ads work really well for HVAC. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe for people that are a little more sketch, like people that are okay with those tricky techniques. Like, hey, we have a free this with that'll do like free furnace or whatever. Those like sales trickery things. But this guy was not about that. He didn't want to scam his clients. He didn't want to mislead them in any way to harm his reputation, and that is completely fair. And I wouldn't suggest people do that. He was making $1 million, being honest, having razor thin margins so he could get his client the best product possible. It didn't work well with what I was offering. So if there's anything you could learn from, oh, by the way, he's paying me $5K a month. So that was a pretty big amount. Before, I was like really scared of losing him. I was really, really scared of losing him. But now I have more clients, so it's not that big of a hit. And it's just like, damn, well, all right, whatever. So first churned client, lesson learned. The only lesson I really learned was don't do HVAC. And the other lesson I learned is like, I don't know. Actually, fuck it. That was the only one I learned. Don't do HVAC, because all my other clients are cooking. His shit just wasn't cooking, straight up. So don't do HVAC unless it's like a big ass company.